All right, good evening and welcome to another episode of the Men's Lounge. Being a Thursday and it's 9 p.m. already, that obviously tells you we are going to come your way with a very interesting discussion. And so today we'll be discussing something that has to do with fathers, but I'm not going to tell you the topic now. I'll tell you when I'm back from my very first break. But before we go, let me just remind you, oftentimes when it's Mother's Day, sometimes 3 months to the day, you hear people talking about it, people already shopping and doing all sort of things just because it's Mother's Day. I have a personal question. Over the years, I noticed that when it's Father's Day or when the Father's Day is approaching, I hardly hear much. Why? Today, I would love you to send me messages. Tell me the reason. I mean, your opinion. Why do you think Father's Day seems to be quiet and then Mother's Day makes so much noise about it? Because I know how much the fathers suffer. Anyway, let me not bore you with too much talk. Please feel free and join us on all our social media platforms at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at eTVGhana. You can get us over there. Also, I need you to start sending your messages even early enough on our WhatsApp console, which is 020-2222-054. I repeat, 020-2222-054. I'll go on my very first break. When I'm back, I'll introduce my guest and I'll tell you about the topic. Please stay with us. All right, so welcome back. If you're just joining us, we have just come into the Men's Lounge and it's time to do all the good talk about the various beautiful things that we always have in stock. And so before I went for the break, I did mention that today we'll be doing something that has to do with fathers. So before I even tell you about the topic, Father's Day is here again, and eTVGhana is giving you the opportunity to celebrate the achievement of your outstanding male health worker. So do you know a male health worker who is doing something amazing in your community or at a hospital who deserves a pat on his back? Then submit a short story about him and share with us in few words why you think he's the best health worker. Send his name, picture, the clinic or hospital that he works to our WhatsApp line, which is 020-2222-054, or call us on Men's Lounge on the 17th June on 0555-657278 and share your story. Okay, so on the 17th June, that particular episode will be massive. You can call us and share your story on that episode. If your story is selected, you stand the chance of winning fantastic prizes for you and the health worker. Deadline for submission is Thursday, 17th, 2021 at midnight. Terms and conditions apply. And so that's what I have for you. So again, I already told you that Father's Day is around the corner, and you just heard at ETV what we are trying to do is that we want to focus on the male health workers. All through this corona season and all other kind of ailments, these guys have been in the forefront. They act like our shields to anybody that's sick, and so we want to honor them. So today, the discussion is going to be centered on a liberal dad or an overbearing father. So a liberal father or an overbearing father, which is the best for the upbringing of a child. And with me to do the discussion, I have two gentlemen, very fine gentlemen. Should I let them? No, let me introduce them. And so I have Frank Osejima. Frank Osejima happens to be a lecturer and a motivational speaker. Do you have any nickname? No. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you.
And then with him also I have Reverend Benny Oseidia. Reverend Benny Oseidia. He's a HR performance consultant and a coach as well. Rev Akwaba. You know, when reverends meet, you know, my colleague Reverend, you call me Reverend Anayao Odame. Where's the laughter coming from?
Thanks for having me.
No, hold on. Frank, where's the laughter? Can't I be a reverend?
Well,
so my name is Nanaya Odame. You can call me Reverend Nanaya Odame. When reverends meet, we talk about a lot of things from the Bible. Guys, good to see you.
Thank you.
And Akwaba, welcome once again.
Thank you for having us.
So today we are talking about, it's basically fatherhood, being a father. But the underlying question here is that being an overbearing father or a liberal father, which one is good for a child's upbringing? But before we even go there, let's try to find out what the role of a father is when it comes to a child. What is the role? What role does a father play in the upbringing of a child? Rev, you want to take this?
Okay, thank you. And thanks for having me, Nana. And
you're welcome.
A very great good evening to your cherished viewers. Basically, father means source. So to be a father is to be a source to, especially now we're limiting it to the offsprings that you bring forth to the planet. Right? So to be a father, your role is to be the source of whatever is supposed to be churned into their lives to become what they are mandated to become. So as a father, your mandate, if I'm to put it, is to be the source of strength, the source of direction, the source of purpose, the source of identity. I believe strongly that today there's a lot of argument out there. There are people that are looking for, I want to give birth and I will name. No, women don't name children.
Fathers
name children.
They are the source.
And because they are the source. And it's ideal that some of these things play out well in our communities. I'm sure we'll get into other aspects of the conversation. But to be a father means that you are a source. And that is exactly what it is.
Frank, you share the same thought?
I share the same thought. And in addition to what Reverend just said, the fathers are the spirit to the children.
Okay.
And so spiritually, if the fathers are not there, the child misses something.
Whole lot.
He or she misses a lot. And that is why God, in his own infinite wisdom, actually ordained the man to be the head of the family.
Okay.
And therefore, any child that does not have a father loses that dignity, that godly mandated aspect in his life. And so the onus lies on every child to have a father. And that is why sometimes a child grows up unknowingly, if he or she does not know the father, he will try as much as possible to find out from the mother.
Yeah, they ask a lot of questions.
They ask a lot of questions. My friends have a father. I don't have a father. Where is my father? Because spiritually, they are the head. And physically, they are. And indeed, they are the source, like Reverend said.
Interesting. So then, why is that role as a father? Why is it that important? Why? I mean, after bringing, yes, you are the source. Yes, you brought you've helped to bear a child. Yes, you hold the spirit, as you have said. But why is it so important to play that role? Why?
You see, Nana, I always argue this with some of our women. They are careers, but they are not the owners of the children.
They are careers.
Of course.
They won't be happy to hear this.
Oh, they are careers.
Even though they know.
Oh, they are careers. You see, I say, you see, the seed is in the man. And it's a man, yes, it's a man that planted the seed.
But you see, they usually hold the argument that they hold the sole decision. They are more like the sole decision makers of whether there's going to be a child or not.
Irrespective of that argument, the seed was planted in the woman by the man. So without a man, there will be no seed. And so, even if the seed is in a woman, what happens is that the man has to nurture it. And so they are only carriers. Reverend said, the man is the source, the father is the source. Yes, spiritually.
So that's why their role is important.
Their role is very, very paramount.
Reverend, why is that role important? Why?
Let's go from Genesis.
Thank you.
Do you know that Adam was not the first person to eat the fruit? It was Eve.
Okay.
When Eve ate the fruit, nothing happened to the generations on the planet. Absolutely nothing. Nothing was corrupted, nothing was disrupted in the order of God's creation. Until the man took it.
Thank you.
However long it took, 1 day, 1 hour, 5 years, 2 years, that's irrespective. The woman ate it first, nothing happened. But when the man took it, it changed everything. You see, let's consider this also, while maybe we try to reposition this well. No matter the argument that exists about the identity of a child, they would never conduct a DNA test on the woman. They will do on the man. Because the man is the source. If you have the same, whatever blood, so and so forth, but the DNA of the man is not running same with the child, something is wrong.
Yeah.
You see, these are things that scientifically, before we even get to the spiritual components, scientifically, it's not argued because it is what it is. So men are the source that makes life. And like maybe Uncle Frank, rightly said, women are the carriers. And we don't take for granted the work they do, but they have their role
To play.
to play.
Yeah.
And the men do have their roles to play.
I see.
I think that when that conversation is seated well and we are trained, I think a lot of the ideologies we have today about the man or the father in the home and their place in the home has come out of so many years of things not having been placed right. And because of that, there is constantly this argument of women taking over some of the roles and so on and so forth. But I'm sure, talking about the roles, one of the things is that the man must be the source. He speaks about the fact that the man, is the spirit. Oh yes, of course. See, in the School of Aviation, they don't have lecturers.
Okay.
They don't have tutors. They have instructors. Because they teach you to obey exactly what must be. You don't sit in a flight that you are piloting and you start arguing, should I press this or not? No, you will crash life.
Don't even fly.
So they have instructors. They
Yeah.
don't have lecturers.
Yeah.
They don't, make discussions. No, press this and this is what happens.
Yeah.
And you go by that instructions. This is what he spoke about Abraham. He said that I know him, for he will command, he will instruct his house after him. Men must be the instructors, the guiders, the people that bring direction. And that is why, of course, when the man is not there, it is a problem, especially when you come to raising a boy. All right? I always say that women cannot raise men. It's difficult. It takes a man to raise a man. Hey, I've got a beautiful daughter. I know she's watching now because she won't sleep. Mami Sawa, if you are listening, hi. All right? I've got a beautiful daughter. I've got a son. Sometimes it is very ideal for our mothers and our wives to understand that there are some things I can't teach my daughter because the woman knows things about the girl that I don't.
Yeah.
There are things she cannot do to raise my boy because there are aspects of a man she doesn't get. And that is where my role as a man, as a father, becomes very critical. And when you understand that you are the source, you are the guide, you are the priest of your home, then you understand your role and your mandate in nurturing your home. Maybe let me end by saying this. Why is it that in marriage, when they approach the altar, they call the woman a bride, but the man a groom? Because the groom is supposed to nurture, groom. So you nurture the woman into what becomes trained to become what you want your home to be.
Well, that's a lot said already. So with all this information, now it makes me curious. So is it that people out there don't know all these things? Because then there seems to be a lot of marketing and advertising around Mother's Day than Father's Day. Why?
You see, the fact still remains that
Women talk too much, or
exactly.
why? What you can't say they talk, right? They are
They
talkative,
talk.
so they talk too much.
Yes, the women talk. Again, you see, the role that the father plays is that the father should be the breadwinner.
Okay.
He's always not found at home.
So he doesn't have time to go and advertise and talk about Father's Day.
Exactly. He doesn't have that time.
The women.
There are some things that you see, they are not too important to the men, but to the women they are. And so when you leave or you give the women the chance, they tend to take over every responsibility.
They channel all the talking.
They channel all the talking.
They're talking to the advertising.
To the extent that sometimes when you even give them something to be given to your children, the woman assumes that it is from them and not from their fathers. And so they try to portray to the children that, oh, this thing is coming from me and not from daddy. And so the children grow up
thinking everything is from mom.
Everything is mom. So at times you'll be in a house, they need something, and they will just call, Mom, I need this. But the woman will quickly whisper to the husband, they need that. And the man will say, go there, it is there. She picks them, and the child thinks that it is the mother. And so the world has actually been a place where the women now want to take over. I'm not surprised, because even in the garden, it was the woman who came to tell the man that there is a fruit. After Satan had actually, taken the minds of the woman to take the apple. It was the woman who went.
Yeah.
So they think that they have that boldness to take over all the responsibilities and assume and make those noise that they are.
But there's a but.
There's a but. So Mother's Day. Yesterday I had an entangle with some guys, and some of them were even talking about the fact that if they meet their father right now, they will shoot him to death. That was the argument. My question was, why? One of them said, no. Look, my dad had the money, but he couldn't even visit me in school. It was mom who was coming, but he always channeled the money through mom. So what was the role of the mother? The mother had to tell the child, Oga, daddy is busy. It is because of these things.
And she probably didn't.
She probably did not. And because she was there for the son or whatever, this son has grown up
and thinks that
the dad did not play any role in his life.
You see, these women are supposed to be the Jesus Christ in the home. You go to the Father through Jesus, isn't it?
Yes.
But they are not preaching the full concept in the home. Interestingly, that's what I see happening with regards to what you are saying. But let's come back to something here. So, knowing what the role of a father is, how important it is. Let me ask this question. When it comes to parenting, what would good parenting mean? Who is a good father? In short, if you are supposed to tell me who a good father is, in short, who is a good father?
Forgive me, I'll claim your indulgence to maybe make a quick
submission
go ahead. From Dr. Frank's submission. Regarding the scenario of the father not being able to visit, I think I might want to say, respectfully to the fathers out there, the truth is, you asked why Mother's Day becomes commercialized hula baloo.
Yeah.
But Father's Day is, practically missing in action.
It's almost dead.
The truth is, we grew up with fathers that were missing in action. Our fathers were never present. Our fathers never gave us shoulders. You see, one of the responsibilities of a man is to supply, because as a source, you need to supply. So working hard to bring bread to the table is one of the responsibilities. That is not all. When you make that the only role you play as a man, you've missed it. You see, there are some levels of love a child cannot get from the mother. Many of our generation and those that are before us were denied this. Our fathers never had any emotional attachments with us, none. Some of us never got hugged by our fathers. And I'm speaking with, to a lot of people that could side with what I'm saying today.
Yeah.
Because, we had this, if you like, tyrant giant at home that no one speaks to. When he gets home, even the dog knows, dad is home. Everyone goes mute.
He gets quiet.
So people pretend around Doga.
Yeah.
And they never have that love element. Listen, there's a difference between love, respect, and fear. Some of us lived in fear with our fathers. And no matter how much we respected them or might love them, we never had it back. And love is reciprocal. If you can show it, it will come your direction.
Yeah.
I think that the boy might be raising a genuine concern because the father never really showed up when we needed them to. And many fathers are like that. Because of that, people got used to the emotional support they get from the mothers. And you can never deny that from any human being, no matter the age you get to. That support is needed as part of your components to let you succeed in the things you do. So in my thinking, I think part of what the fathers should bring to the table is that element of it. Today, a lot of fathers are improving those bits of them. And when I take my kids out to the parks, to the playground, you see more fathers there than the mothers. And
You don't think it's currently because the women are also trying to take up that role of sourcing for, which then allows the men to also have some little time with the kids?
It could be, and that's a very huge, element of what's changing our dynamics today. In the past, listen, our mothers farm. Our fathers go to the same farms as well.
Yeah.
But the same mothers will still play those roles. They play as mothers and as wives in the home. Our fathers just knew how to work hard and work so hard. We won't take anything away from that. But I think there was a lot of emotional denial in support of their children and how they grew up. And I think those are some of the misfits that has really hurt our generation and those before us.
Interesting. Wow, that's a lot of information there. I'm going to go on my very second break. Please stay with us. We'll be back soon with more. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are still in the lounge discussing parenting and more narrowed to a liberal father and an overbearing father. Which one is good for the upbringing of a child? And so I'm still in the studio with Frank and Benny, Reverend Benny. We the reverends. Today we are discussing a lot of spiritual things, so I'm sure you would understand. Anyway, so one of the things I'd want to find out now is, so who is a liberal father and then an overbearing father? I'd want us to try to put a decipher between the two. A liberal father first. Are you a liberal father?
Yes, I am. A liberal father is one who gives his children the freedom to do whatever they want to do. He gives them the room to make their choices, but with some guidance. He cares so much about whatever the children want to do. He communicates a lot, and he tries to put them
in check.
The overbearing one or bearing one is more or less like the authoritarian type, who would always take action. He's very strict. Will take actions when things are not working properly. Now, in our current dispensation, our current world, one cannot have a style, one style, in terms of the upbringing of the children. It's a combination. Strategies should be a combination. It could be authoritarian a bit. It could be authoritative a bit. The permissive, which is the liberal style. And then sometimes you will be uninvolved, just trying to see if the child will also come back to his senses to settle whatever scores that you have with them. Because the right to this, the right to that, is changing the paradigm in a way that we were brought up. Like Reverend said, gone are the days where fathers will leave, our dads will leave the house, go out there in search of something because he's the source of supply. They go, they come, the children are asleep. As to how the table was actually set for the children the next day, they don't know, but the preparation is done by the women, their wives or their mothers. And so the child will always see that things are always coming from
the mother.
And therefore, like he said, when the child does something and the mother says, when your father comes, I'll tell him, there is always that fear, because that does not stay in the house for so long. But believe you me, the paradigm is changing. And that is where we are trying to, bring our children up in that liberal style, in a way that sometimes you even take them out and they begin to tell you that I want this, that I want that. You look at them, you want to tell them something that, Charlie, it is not all that rosy. But you should find a way to let them know. I mean, you want to let them exercise the choice.
And it seems their mothers do that better. They always know what to tell them.
The mother will just quickly find a way, because if it is even the last penny, she will try to portray to the child that, yeah, Charlie, I am there for you. I can provide for you. You get my point now? And that is where there's always a shift or a change in that. But I am saying that, like the question you asked, being liberal and being overbearing, a combination of both will be the best way to bring your child up.
You know, when you were speaking, I'm going to go to Reverend soon, but when you were speaking, you did say that, so the liberal father is the one that tries to provide some guidance and is involved and all that. The overbearing comes across as the strict one, who will just, keep you in check at every point in time. Is that supposed to mean that the overbearing one does not guide? Or is not involved and only waits to pounce on you? Hey, why are you going? Why?
The overbearing
does. It means?
The overbearing does. But the restrictions are so much.
There's no chance for mistakes.
There's no chance for mistakes. This is what I want you to do.
It better be done.
It better be done.
Reverend,
sir,
was your father an overbearing one?
I never lived with him, not in the same house for 24 hours. So, but the little I saw, with the 3 times I did see him, he's very jovial, very, a funny character actually, if I'm to put a tag to it. And that being said, I don't remember a single lesson I picked from him. Because I was young. When I went to uni in Kumasi, that was when I heard he passed. So I practically saw him twice, alive. The third was on his deathbed.
So your whole life it was 3 times?
Yeah, 3 times.
Should I say it's sad?
I wouldn't say so.
You wouldn't say so?
I think I wouldn't have turned out
any different.
Or should I say, I wouldn't have turned out what I am today, maybe if he was around.
If he was, okay.
So whatever, I'm grateful to God for. I wished circumstances would have been, different, but I'm grateful to God, irrespective. And in contribution to that, I think I totally side with Frank, speaking about the fact that you need what I call the duplex nature of a good man.
So you are telling me which styles you think work better?
Both.
Both?
You need both.
A mixture.
You need. I call that the duplex nature of a good man.
Okay.
You see, Jesus was not only the Lion of the tribe of Judah, he was also the Lamb of God. Same character. You just know when to be which. And it's ideal that fathers play this role very effectively. You don't always have to come across as the tyrant, the one who is crushing bones and no one can speak to you. Because there must be an aspect of you that shows and demonstrates love and, is welcoming. But where you need to put your foot down and let things go down, you make it happen. I think this good cop, bad cop scenario in our homes has also contributed to the kids gaining the mindset that possibly the mothers are sweet, the fathers are just bitter, So, and this hasn't worked for a long time in many homes.
Yeah.
I think that, mothers or fathers, we must still have that duplex nature where, hey, be loving, be okay, the kids should be able to be caring. But where you need to put your foot down, where you need to spank, make it happen. I nearly said forget the law. Because it doesn't work anyway. So where you need to
spark it, let's go.
Yeah, hit it hard.
Yeah.
Spare the rod and
spoil the child.
Yeah.
The truth is that there is always foolishness in the heart of the child.
Of course.
Even an adult has foolishness in their heart, let alone a child. And my kids go to school, and when the teacher just threatens, I'm going to spank you, he comes home and he wants to get it right. So the mere thought of that pain on the skin does a lot to change. Listen, God is wise. Forget his lawmakers. They don't even know what's going on. Sorry, did I say that? Yes, I said that. The truth is they don't.
Yeah.
Do you understand? And Yes, this is why most of our liberal communities are having problems now.
Yeah.
Today, you go to America, you go to some of these places, and a child will say, you know, who are you, ma'am? Who are you, dad? Chief, that is not the culture we are taught.
Slaps for happen.
Chief, I went to a military school. I went to the 48th Engineer Regiment School.
Oh, I know that one.
And listen, it's strictness to the core.
Yeah.
But they show you the kind of love. We had teachers in there that would do all the great things, you know. So big ups to the FIOSA teams. You know, they will teach you that, but where they need to. See, we had people that were using, drawing tools to hit your head, and you would think straight. So because of some of these things, it helps.
It's kept us in check.
Have the discipline in there,
yeah.
But also have the care, the love, where the kids can be able to share with you. They shouldn't be always afraid, of your presence.
All right.
As a liberal father, your children will always love to come to you. They will love to play with you.
That's correct.
But that doesn't mean that the rules that you have set
should be frowned.
The rules must be explained to them.
That's correct.
Let them know why you set the rules.
That's correct.
Let them abide by those rules. Where they go off, you spank. You put them in check.
Frank, which one was your dad? Liberal?
My dad was both. My dad was both. He was very jovial. He has, he has this aboduse plenty. We call him aboduse kutu. Oh, yes. May his soul rest in peace. He was that type. Sometimes a bit of authoritarian, sometimes a bit of permissiveness. He comes home and he realizes that he has set the rules. From 7 to 9 o'clock, it is book academic. Have 2 hours of your time to read. Whatever you do in his absence,
it's not my.
He doesn't care. So after the 2 hours, man, no TV.
Time to go to bed.
Time to go to bed because you wake up early. Do your house chores. He'll be with you, contribute. You do whatever you want to do. But the things are that he wants the best of you. And parenting is a difficult task. It actually leads to the development of the child, the growth of the child and his development.
That's correct.
And what the child will be in future. In our case, those days, our parents were, majority were that authoritarian, where they would strictly tell you that I want this and this must be done at this time, appropriately. I remember when I was in school, and I'm not just trying to say that I was so good academically, but my dad was always telling me, you are always second, you are always second, you are always, and I was in that is. That's one.
Okay, so you went to an international
second,
school.
You are this, you are that, you are that. I want you to be first. I have this bottle of water as a gift for you. You will buy it and place it there. You will learn for him. When it is time, you have seen that this thing is there. Your reports are submitted or presented to your dad. He looks at them, it's okay. Now you go for that same thing
that was promised.
And he tells you that I never asked you to take it because I didn't give it to you. I told you this is what I'll give you, but I never gave it to you. So that's the rule. You take it and you are spanked.
Even when you know you are first.
Even when you know you are first and you think that this thing is there for you, so you want to use it.
This is physical wickedness in lower places.
So let's come to something else here. So I'm sure we all in recent times hear about families and their religion and beliefs and all that. Is it okay for a parent? I'm trying so hard not to limit it to the father, but is it okay for a parent to impose their beliefs on their offspring, their children, their kids? Is it okay?
You see, the Bible tells us that we should train up the child the way he or she should grow. That he or she, when he or she grows, he would choose from whatever he wants to do. I don't think imposition is the key. Imposing your belief on the child is not the key. You can just nurture the child, train him or her
the
on
way
the
you
principles,
want.
the way you want.
So that means you wouldn't have probably introduced the child to any other belief than what you
Of course,
believe.
you can only leave your convictions.
How,
That's
exactly.
what-
So
that's
then, how does the child at some point decide to move away from that?
It is at the point where the child thinks that now he can decipher between good
And bad.
and bad.
And so, if the child chooses another belief, then you didn't do your job well. Should I?
Not
I should
really.
be able to say that then.
Not really.
Are you sure,
Not really.
Reverend?
I think the ideal situation is you would have loved your child to follow in what you planted in them.
So before you continue, are you also saying that so it is not okay to impose your beliefs on the child? You are agreeing
When you
to
say
that?
impose, what do you mean? At what level? What do you mean?
Okay, so this is me. I'm a Muslim.
Yes.
And I want my child to be a Muslim at all cost.
Because that's the conviction you live your life with. You see, we all live life with convictions. What you are today is based on your conviction, your dress style, your fashion, your mindset, the ideologies you follow. Those are your convictions. I won't teach you what I don't have. The truth is you can never teach beyond your reach. So whatever I'm teaching must be something within the circle of my influence and ability.
Okay.
So if I have a child, I can only teach you to like what I like, to eat what I eat. But I'm not going to teach you to eat lasagna or something that I can't even prepare. Do you understand?
Yeah.
I love Manchester United. You know, shame on them anyway. But yes.
Please, I'm also a Manchester.
Sorry, so let's go on.
You
I love
guys
Manchester United.
Don't pass here again. Find better teams to support. What really?
Since when? Anyway, you see, I love Manchester United. My kids automatically, that's because that's what happens in their environment.
They will surely go
That's what
against
they
it.
will see. But maybe when they grow, they will
Yes.
discover something else.
Exactly.
I remember growing up, all I knew was football made in Germany, where there was Rummenigge and this and that.
Look
I
at
called
Matthias.
myself, my nickname in high school was Tom Hassler, because Germany had a soccer player called Thomas Hassler. All right, so growing up, yes, that's what I knew. But when I now grew, my taste and preferences changes.
Change, yeah.
But then, you see, the key things is, it's not about religion, because religion is a perfect science that makes easy things difficult. It's about finding values. So I would prefer rather imposing values that are right in the child than religion. Religion is one of the most useless things that have destroyed our communities today.
True.
Please, I'm a pastor. I'm a Christian. I'm not religious. I prefer to say that I'm a Christian and it's traditional, because religion hurts. Maybe one day when there is time, we'll discuss
No,
it.
you know what? You actually not the first person saying this, and it will interest you to know that a friend, and I don't mind mentioning his name is Sadat, a Muslim, would also tell you and he uses the same words that look. He tells me all the time, Nana, religion, Islam, the religion itself, he himself, he says no. But he rather talks about the values. it has.
Values.
And he's always stressing that look, we should rather look at the values than anyway.
see,
So
Nana,
you're saying
our
that
life is all about values.
so then
the
the values should
principles-
rather go with what we
Exactly,
believe.
the principles, the values,
see-
because these are the things the person will not walk away from. Maybe let me end my submission by sharing this. Recently, I read a documentary of a Spanish runner who ran in an Olympics with an African who was leading to the finish line. The guy had almost finished, but because of the markings on the floor, he misconstrued one of the markings to be the finish line. So immediately he crossed that line, he slowed down. And then the Spanish guy was shouting in Spanish that, hey, you're not done, keep pushing, keep running. But he was speaking in Spanish. This is a Kenyan who does not understand. So along the line, he realized that the guy is not understanding and he's slowing down. So he ran faster and pushed the guy across the finish line. So later on, one of the Spanish journalists was interviewing him and said, hey, you had a chance to become first. Why did you not overtake the guy to the finish line and you pushed him? Then he said, it wasn't mine, game to win. He had already won. He said, but he was confused. You could have passed him. He said, yes. What will be the joy in winning a race that I knew I didn't really win? In fact, then he asked, would my mother be proud of me? That means that the mother has instilled certain
Some values,
values
yeah.
in the guy. So he understands that Even in sports, I don't have to teach. Today, everyone is talking about N'Golo Kante because of not anything, not just about his soccer skills, but his values, the things he lives with. And I prefer to teach my children these values. Religion, no. Christianity, whatever that is going on, I believe in Jesus. I'm a preacher of Christ. I stand, and that is why I stand with his principles and his values. And that's what I teach my children. But the hula baloo and the fiascos around it, the facade, no.
Well, on this note, let me just go for this break. When we are back, the phone lines will be open. And let me just reiterate this. The values are much more important than trying to instill your beliefs. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. I'm back. At this point, the phone lines are open now. So feel free, call us, share your thoughts about the liberal father and overbearing father. I mean, yeah, share your thoughts. You can also share an experience with us on what your father was like. We would love to hear that from you as well. And so the phone lines are open. The number is 0555-657278. I repeat, 0555-657278. Let me remind you that Father's Day is here again, and eTVGhana is giving you the opportunity to celebrate the achievement of your outstanding male health worker. Underline word, male health worker. That's the group of people that we want to concentrate on. Do you know a male health worker who is doing something amazing in your community or at a hospital who deserves a pat on his back? Then submit a short story about him and share with us in few words why you think he is the best health worker. Send his name, picture, the clinic or hospital he works to our WhatsApp line, which is 020-2222-054, or call us on the Men's Lounge on the 17th June, which is next week. Okay, so 17th June, on 0555-657278, and share your story. If your story is selected, you stand the chance of winning fantastic prizes for yourself and the health worker as well. Deadline for submission is Thursday 17th, 2021 at midnight. Okay, and the terms and conditions also apply. So let's not forget this. It's very important. Now, before we left, we were talking about whether it was okay to impose your beliefs. But now let's find out. Let's discuss this rather. What about imposing or you see, it's obvious that parents would play a role in deciding what they want the future of the child should be. It comes across sometimes as an imposition as well. Is it good? What's the limitation that we should give ourselves as parents, as fathers, in trying to decide what we want our kids' future should be? As for me, I want my child to be a doctor, and that's the end. Whether the child, is it okay to toe that line?
Well, Nana, this is typically of the overbearing father type.
Yeah, but you see, there's also experience. You may have gone through it, and you know that, look, I don't want my son to go. Gone are the days where football is always the example, when nobody wants their kids to play football. But now, trust me, it's different.
Yeah, I want my child to play.
Nana, I'll use myself as a case study. I used to play very good football. And my dad would always choose the other, academics. I go out to play football, have my fun, get some coins into my pocket. I come home and I'm spanked.
Munchendi. That's what you like.
No, football, no.
It's a game.
It's a game.
Yeah.
I was playing codes. Football.
Okay.
I had that ambition of, playing to the higher level. But I come, I receive my spanks. Because your old boy at that time will tell you that if you fail in your academics, he will take you to the village.
To go and farm.
And that was a fear. Until I got to sixth form, University Secondary School, I played some 2 games. I think one of my last game, school team, I was playing, we were playing against West Africa Secondary School. And then my old boy came on a visit, and he saw me playing, and I became confused. Because I lied to him that I have stopped playing football. And I got confused, because I knew that was the end of my life. And indeed, after the game, he told me point blank, if you fail your A levels,
You're a farmer. Again.
So that was a fear. But in the current dispensation, like I said earlier, you cannot be 100% liberal, neither can you be 100% overbearing.
That's
okay.
Now what we need to do is to allow our kids to make their informed choices. Ours is to guide them. I have a son who will tell me, I want to be a pilot. Yes. And I look at him, he picks your phone, and he's always watching how planes are piloted, how planes are made, and all those things. I just look at him. Now what I have to do is to sit back and make sure that in his sciences and all the other courses, it will take him through. So at times I ask him, do you know what actually takes you to be a pilot? And then he tells me what he knows. Then I know he's on the right path. I am not bothered. I don't want to force him. I want to push him to say, toe this line, as I was asked to do. Because what I was even asked to do, it got to a point I diverted because of monetary issues. You got my point?
Yeah.
You have to be a medical doctor. But I got to a point and I have to divert. And here I am. I have never actually lost that spirit of diverting from what I was supposed to have done. So in our current dispensation, there's a total paradigm shift where we cannot 100% impose on our kids, our children, to do what we want them to do. Let us just sit down with them, discuss, let them put their choices before you, and then we guide and direct them. And above all, the only thing we can do as a father is to just pray for them and wish them the best. That's all.
Reverend, before you come in, the phone lines are open again. Let me just remind you guys that the number is 0555-657278. I repeat, 0555-657278. Let's hear from you and keep your messages also coming. The WhatsApp console is 020-2222-054. Rev?
Yes, sir. Okay. The truth is, any father that wants to impose a certain career on their child is because of what they know or what they've experienced. The truth also is no father wants their child to fail. So when a lawyer...
Rev, I'm going to have to hold you on. There's a caller on the
right.
line. Caller, your name and where you're calling from. Good evening.
Please, Richard, calling from Achibubu.
Hi, let's hear you.
All right. Nana,
yes,
talking
sir.
about the overbearing father and then the liberal father.
Yeah.
I'll take mine as an example.
Okay.
My dad was very, very, I won't say overbearing, but I don't know if I could get an adjective for that, a different thing altogether. And to me, looking at the way I started my whole life, if you are a dad and you treat your child in that way, if you don't take enough caution, the child may go wayward. Let me take mine for example. I was the type that, let's say, was treated like the way I said it, a very overbearing dad.
Yeah.
And it got to a point, my friends couldn't come to my house to play with me. It will never happen.
Wow.
So this is how it is. We wait for him to go to work. Then they will come around. As we are playing, we need to get someone to stand somewhere and be monitoring and see if the man is coming.
He's coming, yeah.
Now, when they set eyes on him, they have to run to the house and inform us that his dad is coming. And look, each and everyone needs to vanish. So I became used to that, and later on, I said to myself that no, I can't stay with this man. So after GHS, I decided to live with friends. Though my dad and my mom were around, they were both there.
Yeah.
But because of the treatment, I couldn't stay with him. No television, like what Adam, the Reverend said.
Yeah.
It was just book. After that, go to bed, and no way for you to play. There's no chance for that. So I realized that no, this man is trying to, blocked me. He's serving as an obstacle. So let me just move away from him.
I see.
So I
see.
moved, and I was staying with friends while I was at a senior high school.
Interesting.
So just imagine.
Yeah.
I was lucky I didn't get into bad friends.
It would have been the end, I'm sure.
Very good.
Yeah.
So,
Well, thank you so much for your contribution. We appreciate your story. We would love to hear more from other people as well. Let your calls come through 0555657278.
So that is the end result of being an overbearing
father. Yeah, I mean, listening to him, it could have been anything. I mean, a lot could have gone wrong.
And see, this is how come some of our children become, should I use the word miscreants or in society that we don't even know, because they hide.
They pretend with us.
They had certain traits when you don't know, because in your absence they will do what
of course
they feel like,
and in your presence they do what you want.
They show you what you want to see.
Show you what you want to see.
Kids are politicians, eh? Hey, did I say that? Those were your last words. Reverend, let me hear you for the last time.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. I think I was making a point earlier on. Maybe let me just put it into quickly.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's not wrong that fathers will want the best for their children. So if they've experienced something, they want you to go into it. However, see, we are not made to succeed everywhere. If you're a fish, you belong in water. If you're a bird, you belong to the air. Forcing a fish to fly could really cause a lot of harm. And it's ideal that sometimes fathers or parents should be able to understand that we might come from the same household, but we are not made and tailored the same.
Yeah.
Now, one other thing is, you see, people can only teach within their reach. So it's what they know, that's what they're showing you. So if a father knows only about medicine or pharmacy or law, they want you to get into it because that's what they succeeded at.
Yeah.
That's why someone who could play soccer very well could be asked to say no. And they used agriculture as a punishment. But if they understood the dynamics of what agriculture is, it should rather be a motivation for them to go into it. So, I think ideally, my last point is, let's rather encourage, if you are not sure, let's make use of professionals who can guide the career of our children.
Yeah.
Instead of sticking to only what I know, that also limits and restricts the child. But it's totally wrong to impose a career when they know that it's not working for them. It will always be a battle.
Well, on this note, I'm going to have to draw the curtains to a close. Unfortunately, time is not on our side. But before I leave, let me remind you that you need to keep sending your nominations through. Okay, we are concentrating on the male health worker. The name, the clinic, tell us a story about the person. Let your stuff come through early enough. We need to receive them by the 17th of June so that you can get to win all those amazing and fantastic prizes that we have for you. Guys, thank you so much for coming through the lounge. I'd love to see you again and again and again and again, because I know there's a lot I can pick from you. And thanks to you also for staying this late to watch us. You can watch the repeat tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning on this channel. Until we meet again next week, please stay safe. The COVID is still around. Please, 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 let's be safe. Father's Day next week will bring you a very exciting episode.